Get ready to uncover the captivating tales of Akershus fortress in Oslo, one of the most haunted sites in the Norway. This ancient fortress, built in the 1300s, has witnessed centuries of battles, imprisonment, and even a dark chapter during World War II. But what truly sets it apart are the eerie spirits that reportedly roam its corridors. From a demon dog guarding the gates, to the faceless woman in a long robe, and even the mysterious night pyres, these stories will send shivers down your spine. Akershus fortress is a very old and important place in Oslo, Norway. It has seen a lot of important events that happened in Norway over many years. It was built in the 1300s and was like a super strong castle to protect the capital and the king's home. Once, the Swedish army and a guy named Charles XII tried to take over the fortress, but they couldn't. This showed how strong and important the fortress was for Norway. As time went on, the fortress changed from a castle to a place for the military. It was in a great spot by the location, so it was super important for defending the country. It became a symbol of Norway's determination to stay independent. This part of the fortress's history is very important because it tells us how strong Norway is and how much it had to give up to be free. A long time ago, Akershus castle used to be a strong fort, but then it became a dark and scary prison. They put people who broke the law there, away from the city and the good folks. Some famous people, like Gest Bardson, who was a well-known writer, and Ole Hoiland, who was a famous thief, were kept there. They weren't the only ones. People who supported Marcus Thrane also ended up inside. Inside the prison, there was a really sad part called the slavery. Prisoners there were forced to work in the city, like they were rented tools. It must have been really hard work, especially under a gloomy sky. Then, during World War II, things got even worse. The fortress had a really tough time. It had to give up to the Nazis without a fight. This was a sad moment in its history. Some people were even executed at the fortress during the war, which reminds us of how bad war can be. The fortress, which used to make people proud, was kind of forgotten because of the Nazis. The executions that happened there show us how much people had to suffer in the fight against the Nazis. Akershus Castle is not just an old place with a lot of history, it's also known for spooky stories and ghostly encounters. Let's talk about some of the scary tales that people tell about this ancient castle. In this spooky place, there's a ghostly dog named Malkinisen. He's not a regular dog, he's like a ghost, and people say he guards the fortress with a really scary presence. People believe that if you ever see Malkinisen, it's a bad sign. It means something really bad might happen to you in the next 3 months. The story goes that they buried Malkinisen alive at the fortress gate to protect Akershus castle. This might sound strange, but in other places, like England, they had similar stories about black dogs guarding graveyards. The soldiers who protected the fortress were very scared whenever Malkinisen showed up. Even today, visitors to Akershus fortress tell creepy stories about seeing a shadowy dog-like figure running toward them and then disappearing into thin air. The legend of Malkinisen still haunts the history of this old fortress, where it's hard to tell the difference between the living and the dead. There's another ghostly presence known as Mantelgisen. Mantelgisen is like a ghostly lady in a long, dark cloak that hides her face. She moves silently in the old castle. Her strange outfit and the fact that you can't see her face make her really spooky. Mantelgisen is often seen walking to a specific room in the castle, like she's drawn to it. We don't know why she does this, it's a mystery. Maybe that room was important to her when she was alive, and she still cares about it in the afterlife. We don't know much about Mantelgisen's story. We're not sure who she was when she was alive or how she died. She's been in the castle for many, many years, and people who see her feel curious and scared. We'd love to hear your theories and ideas about the origins of Mantelgisen. Do you have any information or historical insights that might shed light on her mysterious presence? Please share your thoughts and knowledge in the comments below and help us to unravel the enigmatic tale of Mantelgisen. If you visit Akershus castle, keep an eye out for Mantelgisen. Her silent, faceless figure makes the already spooky castle even more mysterious. In the scary stories about Akershus fortress, there's a spooky legend called the Night Pyres. These strange creatures are like tiny women, no bigger than babies, and they show up mysteriously right before fires start in the fortress. What's really scary about the Night Pyres is how they look. They have faces that turn into really scary smiles, and that can give anyone the creeps. And if that's not scary enough, their laughter is said to be super scary. One of the ghosts that supposedly lives in the castle is Ole Hoyland. They call him the Norwegian Robin Hood. He tried to escape from the castle but got caught again. In 1847, his request to be set free was denied, and he ended his own life in the castle. His sad story is still felt in the ghostly happenings at the castle. There's also a story about a Swedish soldier who was really drunk and charged at the castle walls, saying he wanted to take over Norway. Sadly, he got killed by the Norwegian soldiers. Now, people say that this soldier and his horse haunt the place, keeping the memories of the past alive. People often hear the sound of a ghostly horse running through the castle. This is a reminder of the Swedish soldier who charged recklessly with his horse. The horse's hooves making noise on the stone path and its ghostly neighing bring back memories of the dramatic events from a long time ago. This ghostly horse is linked to the history of the castle and reminds us of the difficult and sad things that happened here. People who go to Akershus castle have heard strange noises. It's like the sound of chains rattling, as if there are ghosts from the past. They also hear whispers, even though they can't really make out what's being said. It's as if the castle is hiding secrets from a long time ago. Some people say they've felt something pushing them when they're in the castle. It's like invisible hands are guiding them. This makes them feel like there are spirits around them. People have seen ghostly figures that look like guards, but then they suddenly disappear. This can be really spooky. There are also screams that sound like they come from people who were in trouble a long time ago. It's like the past is still alive in the castle. Akershus Castle isn't just a story, it's a real place with strange and scary things happening. If you're curious and brave, you can visit and experience the echoes of Norway's history for yourself. Even though Akershus Fortress is owned by the military, it's open to the public from 6 in the morning to 9 in the evening. What's interesting is that it's not only a historic place but also where the Prime Minister of Norway lives. Can you imagine living in a castle with such a long history? For people who visit, there are cool things to see. There are 2 museums, the Norwegian Armed Forces Museum and Norway's Resistance Museum. You can learn about the country's military history and what life was like during wars. These museums make history come alive. But the best part of Akershus Castle is the Royal Mausoleum. It's where some of Norway's important kings and queens are buried. It's like walking into a history book about royalty. Also, the fortress is used for important events, dinners, and other public gatherings. It's not just something from the past, it's a part of today's Norway that connects history with our lives now. Akershus Fortress is a symbol of Norway's strong and enduring spirit. It shows us Norway's history, culture, and traditions. It's a place where the past and the present come together, so it's a must-visit for both local people and tourists. You can explore the old halls and learn about the history that's still alive in the castle. It's not just a tourist spot, it's an invitation to learn about Norway's strength and spirit. If you enjoyed this journey through history and spooky tales, please like, share, and subscribe for more exciting stories from around the world. Thanks for being with us today. We'd love to hear from you, so please share your own experiences, suggest future topics, or leave a comment below. And stay tuned because our next adventure will have even more thrilling mysteries and amazing stories from all over. Until then, keep being curious and amazed by the world.